This was the good wheel bearing. Hard to believe this is the good wheel bearing. Let's see if this one makes noise too. Yeah, it makes a little bit of a grinding noise. Not nearly as bad, but this is the good side. No wonder the mechanics didn't want to work on this stuff. The new upper control arms. I ordered those, I believe, on AM Auto Parts, as well as new front brake rotors and pads, also from AM Auto Parts. And I think carparts.com is where I did get, I know I got these guys, the new wheel bearings. I got these from, because these are tapered wheel bearings. Got those from carparts.com, as well as some new full-length lug nuts, front and rear shocks. Of course, I've just got the front shocks here because I'm not sure if I'm going to do the rear shocks yet. New passenger side brake hose. Got that one, as well as the other side of the wheel bearing, and the CV axles. So far, every mechanic I've taken this thing to has said the same thing. It ain't worth fixing. We're not going to fix it. Take it to some other mechanic. Nobody wants to work on it. They've all condemned it. But in this economy, I got to keep this thing running somehow, some way, even if the mechanic. I believe this is the right Torx head right here. I don't know. What a pain in the butt, Chevy. Come on, man. Can't believe they do this to you. Taking all my weight. Took all my weight off the floor to get this with the cheater bar. These things broken loose here. I'm getting down on the floor already. Like these guys. Oh, wait a minute. The ones that are not Torx bolts are not that tight. Really? Oh wow, yeah, there is a lot of play in there on this wheel bearing. Yeah, it does make some noise on those bearings there. That's where my noise is coming from, I guess, huh? I guess so. 36 mil for this thing. Let's see if I can break it free with just the impact and not have to deal with extra bars and stuff. Let's see here. All right. Not so bad, dude. And a little 15 mil socket. You can't use the big half-inch ones because they're too big to fit on there. I find that hard to believe that they put this wheel bearing is held on by these little 15 mils. Even though they're tight, I'm just surprised. That's all. That's 15 mils holding this on after all those bigger bolts. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the 15 and go around the inside area of the CV axle. So close to getting the axle out of there. So close. Oh, there we go. Axle coming out. It's getting caught between the tie rod and... Okay. So this was actually easier to get out than Commander.
good. Maybe.
Okay. So this approach I like better because this thing just bolts on. The problem is I should have unbolted these before I unhooked all this stuff because this whole thing was spinning.
Oh.
When I was trying to undo all the torque on these bolts right there.
Oh my.
So yeah. The CV axle.
Is that what's giving you
Is up.
issues and making all that noise?
Well, it's part of the problem. Here's what most of the problem is right here.
What's that?
The bearings right here. This is going to take a lot of noise. I've already taken all the bolts out. It's seized on here.
Oh.
So
what do you do with that then?
I've got to take some sledgehammer and start bashing it off
Holy.
with a sledgehammer. So I'm putting on some hearing protection, but here,
Oh.
these are bearings. These are supposed to be smooth.
Yeah, you can hear how gritty it is.
Yeah, and there's play in it too. Eye protection on. Let's get this started here. Let's see if I can start by just. Okay, that's why these things are always hard to get at. Take a look at that mess. That is a rusted out mess of corrosion right there. I don't know if they'll fit over. I'm just trying to protect you. Sometimes the wires can come off of here and fly and hit you in the eye. Whoa! You want some gloves?
Nah. That's got a lot of torque.
Whew. We need a fan
Yep.
blowing through the stuff through here.
Yo, Ma. Could you go inside and grab a fan for me and Dad? There's a lot of dust coming off this.
What do you need?
A fan.
Look at all this dust that is kicking
Yeah,
up.
let me go grab a fan. Do you want a big one?
It doesn't need to be that big. It just needs to be like a box fan.
Okay, I'll grab that.
There you go, Ma. Yeah.
Look at how smooth it's getting inside there now. It's getting much smoother. Oh, I need to tighten it, don't I? Rust converter on that, and then lots of anti-seize in the bore before I put in the new wheel bearing. This to the steering knuckle. Then we got two 21 mils on each end of the control arm. Now, control arm can come out. I'm going to have to clean this up with a wire wheel, but I'm going to lose my marks. There. This side I've removed the brake hose so I can pull this out. I'm still going to have to pound it out of there. Still wants to hit the brake line. Oh, just lost my brake bolt. These things so close to each other. I'm not gonna get them there easy. Okay, upper control arm is out. This is the other piece that they wanted. The new CV axle just placed through that steering knuckle. I've got the upper control arm on, the new shock on, and the steering knuckle is prepped and ready for the wheel bearing. Cleaned up a little bit, not as cleaned up as I would like it to have been. Okay, cool. Bolts are going to be a little bit getting started though. Okay, so I got this thing through here. That'll go up here. All these pieces will be able to line up over there.
We'll work on it.
Okay, there's 133. 133 foot-pounds. See if we can get this. I'll be able to get 133 foot-pounds. We got it. There's one. There's the other. Axle nut on there. This one's going to be just as tight as I can get it, I guess. The tighter you can get that thing, the better. Impact. Okay, the axle nut there, 177 foot-pounds. It's good. 177 foot-pounds. Now those 6 bolts on the inside of the interconnection point to the transfer case. I believe those are 15 mil. Yep, I think this is going to work. It's only 58 foot-pounds, so it's not like I have to get 150 pounds of pressure on it. Okay, that worked. Let's see if the next one. Oh, I should have done this. This other one I should have done before putting the shock in. Shock is going to be, nope, I'm able to get around the shock. Got it. All right, all of them are done now. For the brake rotor's getting held on a couple of those guys. Okay, now, got the bracket goes on here. Those are 18s. Those are 18s. They're going to need to be torqued on pretty tight as well. Okay, 129 and 129. Okay. This has no wear indicator on it, so I'm going to stick this one on the outside. CV axle in there with torn up boots, the new brake line, the new shock. the new ABS wiring attached to the new wheel bearing, and just to make it look nice, I threw on, even though they were still working good, threw on some new drilled and slotted rotors and pads. I've got that axle nut torqued. Axle nut has been torqued. I think everything else is good there. Driver's side is almost ready to run. Washer fluid reservoir replaced. I'll still have to throw on the inner fender well, but the passenger side is my problem at this point. Now got an upper control arm here, which I've got a seized, let's see if I can grab the camera to show you, a seized bolt right there. I'm going to destroy those bolts. Here's the old one. This is the one that I'm going to have my wife order. This is what we need to order. See how bad those are? So, and as I got into this steering knuckle here, I'm seeing the lower control arm could probably use to be replaced too. But right now I got to worry about the upper control arm. So that's where we're at now. So one of the things I did not know before starting this job was I was going to need new mounting bolts for the upper control arm. So yeah, these guys right here, definitely wish I would have bought those for the other side too. The other side went on and off much easier, so nothing was seized. So I just used the old ones, but probably a good idea to use these new ones. And I will be putting some anti-seize on this section here. And also, because I rounded off a couple of my, getting them off of there, these are the bolts that hold the wheel bearings, the 3 bolts that hold the wheel bearings on. So these were kind of rounded off. I didn't want to have a rounded off bolt that I'm trying to torque on there because the torque is so high on these. I figure it's just the best bet. Let's get those two. So 15 bucks for those, 18 bucks for this set. Doing this job, yeah, that's definitely worth it. I should have done that on the other side. The other side's all put back together, so I don't want to mess with it now, but yeah, I should have got these for both sides prior to starting this job. So before starting this job, get the mounting bolts for the upper control arm and the cams, the caster and camber alignment cams. These all come as a set. Just get new bolts to hold your wheel bearing on, as well as inner and outer tie rods. The mechanics never mentioned how bad these were, but I can't put those old ones back together. Was these pieces right here. Just go through these guys. And the other one matches up with it. So here's the cams that change the position. And this is all good. These things all came loose. These were all good. However, it is this piece inside here, which inside here is what seized inside this piece right here. So this is where I'm going to put the anti-seize on the new ones. This is why I'm stuck on getting the old ones off, because no matter how hard I pound here, this is seized in here. This piece turns, these pieces turn, so turn with this piece. So what is, let's see if normal hammer will. Okay, this is not fun to deal with. No wonder this was seized in there. Jeez, look at all that. Anti-seize will be going on the new one for sure. Now be careful, this is still hot from heating it up. There's the problem right there. Now, this thing is still really hot, so. Skill auto hammer. I recommend this thing. I could not break that no matter how much sludge hammering I'm doing on that thing. This thing pounded it out. This little, and it's just a rechargeable electric air hammer, but this did what I needed it to do. Get that piece out of there. Stopped my whole job, and of course this thing came right when I had to go back to work, so I had to wait till I got a day off work to get back to working on it again. It's cleaned off. Oh, let's put the rest of this warmer on there. The entire job was just held up by seized bolts and stuff. I'm going to start applying some anti-seize right now. A little bit of anti-seize in here. A little bit of anti-seize on each area right there. These bolts have got to get some anti-seize on them for sure. Actually is probably easier to put back in without all this extra junk here. The anti-seize, let's get it going. And since this area gets so incredibly nasty, I'm going to go pretty heavy with it. Since that area is a huge problem. If the anti-seize isn't very good. And while I'm at it, let's get a little anti-seize on these guys too. It's back here in this section. I've learned my lesson with these rusted bolts, how they stop my jobs when they're seized. I don't want any more seized parts to hold me up. Since that required a little bit of work to push that out of there. We got a castle nut on there now instead of just a nut. You up here, get out of the way. It is now 85 degrees in this garage. And we got bugs attacking, so I'm wearing all this protective gear. The bearings, which hold everything on, tore up the gloves again. Okay, 129 brake caliper bracket. All right, looking good here, baby. We're back in business after just a little bit of a little bit of a setback. Putting a splash shield on backwards. Threw it back a little bit. These guys are 10s. Yes, they are.